Good morning and welcome to my garage. So this is a bit of a winter project for me. So when I'm not at work and it's too wet or dark outside, I can come in here and try and sort this mess out. So as you can see, it is quite a mess. It's been a mess for a while, but it's been made worse because I've actually made a start already. So I used to have metal shelving in the corner here, which I used to have my firewood on it. Problem is, I found my firewood has woodworm in it, and this is part of my house. I don't want woodworm in my house. It's fine for it to be in the log store outside, it's fine for it to be in the firewood because it's going on the fire, but I don't want it in my house, in my garage where I'm storing my nice wood and where it's part of the structure. So yeah, plan is to get rid of this shelving unit here, and I thought while I'm doing that, I'll have a bit of a move round in here, because I actually want to try and get a car in here. Now, I know that sounds strange, putting a car in a car garage, but hey. So the doors over there, I am going to have to replace them, because I can get my car through that, but you have to fold both wing mirrors in while you're reversing, so you can't actually see where you're going. But it does fit in there. I have had it in here before, and it comes to about here. Now, to give me more space in here, I was going to say that it was a trial thing, and although I could get the car in here, getting out the car was fun. So I'm thinking if I widen the doorway over there and just sort of move everything to this side, I can park on this side, get out that side and get round the car. But that means pretty much all the shelving on this side has to go. So as I'm taking down this shelving here, I'm thinking if I move my workbench from there over to here, move my woodworking station from here to over there, then move my wood store, which is quite flat against the wall, along to over there, it might work. Might. Okay, so this is the corner I'm starting in. So I've already stripped out the old shelving. Just got the uprights to go. It's all old shop shelving, so I'll just take that to the scrapyard and get rid of it, I think. So soil level, unfortunately, is about there. And if you look out through the window here, you'll see cliff, because the soil level is actually far, far higher. That's what it was like when I brought the place. So I have since dug down next to the wall and put corrugated metal in all the way round, and put a perforated pipe at the bottom, so that directs any water off the wall and down to the bottom. It seems to be working really well, because when I first moved in that corner, it was wet halfway up, but that's all dried out. Very, very occasionally, when you've had weeks and weeks of rain and like everywhere's flooding, you do still get a little bit of water ingress. But that's what this gully here is for. So that block of wood, I've put bitumen on the inside, and that just takes any of the water round and through, out through over there. So yeah, I'm going to have to work around that, but it shouldn't be too much of an issue. So my thought is, the cabinet there moved to here, so I'll have to raise that slightly so it goes over that wooden gully. And then once that's in place, I want to put a tool wall behind it, because I don't really like having the tools hanging right over the window like that. So rather than drilling loads and loads of holes in this wall, I'll fix some boards up. So I'm thinking if I get these metal rails out, give the wall a coat of paint, and just generally clean this up, and yeah, I won't bother filming that because that'll be boring. So yeah, I'll get on with that, and then we'll get back to you when I'm moving that cupboard. Okay, so brief update. I have painted the wall there. I've managed to get the board on this wall here. I've spaced this one off with the little battens. That gives me extra depth to put the screws through, and it also allows ventilation behind it to make sure you don't get any moisture build up. This one's actually an internal wall, so I've screwed that board directly to the wall. I'm pleased with how it's looking so far. It's got rid of a lot of rubbish from over here, and it's all in this area now. So yeah, as you can see from outside, it's dark. You can also see outside because I cleaned the window. So yeah, next plan is to try and get that cabinet from there to in this gap here. So I've already made a start. I cut this piece of wood here, so that's treated timber, which I'm going to build a frame out of to sit the cabinet onto. I've used treated timber, one because it's touching the concrete, and two just because I had it. So yeah, it's going to be one of those sort of things. Yeah, this is going to be interesting. So I've already spent a bit of time and removed all the screws that held that to that. So that was great fun doing that, trying to remember where they all were. Problem is I've got to move this because as you can see it sticks out to about there. So the plan is to take this out of the way, move that over, and then put this back around that in some manner. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. What I'm going to do is I'm going to leave it till tomorrow, because at the moment I'm thinking that isn't attached to this cabinet, but it does appear to be attached to this top. I've removed all the screws I can see, but I think there's one directly underneath the vise here. So I'm going to have to take the vise off, dismantle that, to move that lot out, and that weighs a ton on its own as well. So yeah, I'm going to leave that till the morning. So see you in a bit. Okay, so I've managed to get the cabinet apart there. It was literally the weight of the vise holding it all together. So once I lifted the vise off, it all started to move. But I managed to get it out without dropping any of the screws there. Managed to finish the frame that it's going to sit on. So now the fun part. I haven't exactly got a lot of space to work in here. But what I'm going to have to do is take everything out of that cabinet and put it over there, because I need to turn that cabinet over so I can take the old base off and then be able to shift it over to here. I've not got a lot of gap to get through here either, so yeah, I'm going to stick you on time lapse over there, and let's have some fun. Okay, so that's emptied it all out. I've taken the doors off to reduce some of the weight. And I thought, yeah, just take the base off, this will be fine. Then I remembered that the side panels come down further, so I'm going to have to cut the side panels off. And I just drew a line on there and thought, yep, I'll just get the saw and cut it. And before I cut it, I suddenly remembered the way they've built it. They've actually fixed the base in here, so I'm now going to have to get my drill, put some screws in from the side so I can cut that. So yeah, let's get on with that, and then get back to moving it. Okay, that's the cabinet in. Took a little bit of adjustment to get it underneath the board there. I don't know why. I measured it about 6-7 times before I moved the cabinet across, but I was about a centimetre out. So, right, I'm going to get these bits back in there and get the doors back on before I work on step 2. Okay, so that's all back together and looking good. So, next step is I've got to get that cabinet on the end of there. And I've got this stupid brick pillar here. So, when I moved in, there was a workbench that went all the way across. Because the roof had, well, collapsed. It was leaking and everything had rotted. The boards that were on top went. I can't quite remember. I seem to remember there being stacks of bricks at either end, and they came down easily, but the one in the middle didn't, which is why I left it. But yeah, I'm going to have a go at taking that out. That's going to be fun. Well, that took no time at all. Now I should say, I was aware that this wasn't structural. It was built after this wall. If I'd seen any evidence of it being tied into that wall, I would have left it in place. But yeah, I knew it wasn't structural, so yeah. Got a bit of tidying up to do. Right. Okay, so that's all the rubble cleared away. I've got the bricks here. I'll move those at a later date. But it means I can get on now. Now, yeah, this is one of those jobs where If you want to, you can start delving deeper and deeper, but you might end up with problems. Because I noticed there's a little bit of hole in the floor, so I started making it a little bit bigger to try and find out what's going on. And I found a brick that's there, and there's another brick there, and I thought, oh, is there some sort of cover or something underneath here? Then I was aware I can make out the shape of a brick there. That's roughly a brick's width apart. There's another brick sticking out through here. So I think they probably just cheaped out on the floor. So to save on the cost of the cement, they just chucked a load of old bricks in there. That's the main reason I can think of these being here. It's not a level floor by any means, so it was probably a DIY one. So yeah, so I'm going to just fill that back in, fill that so it's all nice and level where I've chiselled it, and repair the gully. So yeah, I'll check in with you once I've done that. It might be a while before I do that, because yeah, it's going to take a while for the cement to go off. So yeah, I'll check in once I'm done. See you in a bit. Okay, so it is actually a week later now. I've been doing little bits and pieces every night, and yeah, I'm really pleased with this corner now. So I have managed to get this end here sorted. So I'm trying to remember. I think I hadn't put anything in its place, had I? No. So I filled the holes in the floor. I actually used tile adhesive to do that, because it's cement based, it's waterproof, it's designed to go on thinly, so it shouldn't crack. But yeah, so that's filled that. I've prepared the piece of wood in the gully and filled it with more bitumen paint. Now, you shouldn't really be using bitumen inside, but this is a garage. It's not like your house. It's not like so you're going to be sitting it in every day. So put the piece of work top back on top of there and bolted the vise down, and that vise is bolted down better than ever, so that's nice and solid. I've also secured it back to the wall here. I say secured it back to the wall. It just had that irritating when you knock things rattle sort of thing. It was solid because of the amount of weight that's in this. And yeah, and then I just rejigged that screw holder tower thing there to fit into that gap. Now I know that's kind of buried in the corner there, but to be honest, they're those irritating things where you go, you use them once and you think, I'll keep those because I might need them again, but you kind of never do. But at the same time, as soon as you throw them away, that's when you need them. So yeah. And then workmate and Hoover can sit there, and I'll still have enough room to work here when my woodworking station comes over here. So yeah, now on to the next stage. Yes, so the next stage. Now, unfortunately, I've kind of jumped ahead a little bit and mucked up. However, I think I've thought it through and worked it out. So I said I was going to move my wood store from there to over there. Now, problem is I never measured anything, and I just assumed that column would be in the middle of the building. And it's not in the middle of the building. So if I was to move that shelving just straight across, it kind of overhangs that column. And I don't want to bring anything into the garage, I want it further out, because I'm trying to get the car in here. So that was a bit of a muck-up. But fortunately, I've measured these shelves here, and I've checked it, and this and that, although they're slightly different colours, do all link together, and they are different sizes, which is useful. So those shelves are 1.35 m wide, and these shelves are about 1 metre wide. So you put that together, that's 2.35 m, and I think I've got about 2.37 m to play with over there. So that shelving should fit in there nicely, and that still left a bit of gap, because obviously when I do the door, there's going to need to be a door runner, so that should be good. Only downside to that is the wood comes in 2.40 m length, so you are going to have about 5 centimetres overhang on the end of the shelf, but that's not too much of an issue. I mean, if you had a great big metre long overhang, then you might end up with some bowing in the wood. It's just going to look bad and irritate me, but yeah. So what I've done is, these are the uprights from the old shelves in the corner over here that I took down initially, and I have cut them in half because that has saved me that much space. It's all about the inches here, you know. So if I screw those directly to that wall, I can then put the shelving on that, and I can use not only this shelving over here, I can use that shelving over there, so I can go floor to ceiling with the shelving, which is excellent. Only downside to that is space. I'm going to have to move all of that lot out so I can put the shelving and the brackets in there. But I'm going to have to leave this accessible because I'm going to need to get the shelving and the brackets off of here. But I'm also going to have to leave this accessible because I'm going to need to get the shelving and brackets off of here. And I'm also going to have to clear all this stuff off of here, or at least half this stuff off of here, because if I'm taking the shelf off, I need it empty. So yeah, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put you on time lapse, because I'm going to have to do a lot of moving around here, put and take, and try and work around it. But yeah, it's going to be interesting, so let's get on. Okay, so it doesn't look like a lot of access, but I think it'll be enough. So I've cleared all this out. Now unfortunately, when I initially did this gully around the edge here, I did still have water coming through the wall. The floor was damp. So I found, despite the bitumen saying you could use it on damp surfaces, it never actually stuck to the floor. So I've just had to redo this entire section because it all peeled up. So it's getting a bit whiffy in here, and I'm a bit concerned about the fumes, but we'll see how far I can go. So I'm hoping if I put one of these up, get a back panel, I can measure off to get the next one up. I can then use one of these back panels from the other set of shelves, because they're one of the meter ones, so I should be able to get the 3 of these lined up here quite nicely. So yeah, let's get this on. Okay, so I've kind of finished that shelving off. I did it all in stops and starts, so I didn't bother recording it because it would have been so bitty it wouldn't have made any sense. So, but yeah, I've managed to get the rest of that shelving all the way up to the ceiling now. The very top piece of metal I did have to cut to fit it in. I just trimmed it off with a pair of tin snips and reinforced the edge with a piece of wood. So my thought is I'm just going to keep that entire wall as wood. That's my thought. Maybe the top shelf could be pipework, some bits like that. So I dismantled the shelving from here because I managed to clear that. But I'm kind of at a stalemate point now. So this stand here I want to move over to here. Now top shelf has got to go, so the wood on the top of that is going to go on the very top shelf of my frame over there. But I can't put it on the frame over there because the ladder's in the way. So yeah. The other thing is I can't move the shelving unit over to here because I've got the pots of paint and the ladder's in the way. Now the pots of paint, I've thought about it, and I'm going to build another set of shelves here because I've still got the shelving bits. Now I've got 2 problems with that. One, I've got stuff on the shelves over there, so that needs to be moved somewhere so I can get the shelves down, so I can then put that stuff back on shelves. And 2, I've got one of these half uprights, the other one's a hold upright, and unfortunately I snapped my jigsaw blades cutting it, so I can't cut the second one in half until I buy some more jigsaw blades. It's also 9 o'clock at night, and I don't think the neighbours would be too happy if I started that now. So I'm going to stop for tonight anyway. Plan is tomorrow, buy some more jigsaw blades, cut that down, possibly make a start on the shelving there, because I'm thinking I can get the backing pieces off of there. I've got the old wood coloured shelves there that I can use. It won't match the other shelves, but it's fine because it's a separate set of shelves. Then I can move the paint from over there to over here. And yeah, it's coming together slowly, very slowly. I will be very pleased when this is done. But yeah, right, I'll see you tomorrow. Okay, it's the next day. I've managed to get the blades, cut that bracket in half, fix that to the wall, and I've got the first shelf in place. So I can now work on moving the paint from over there to over here, whilst doing hurdles in the meantime. Right, let's get you on a time lapse. Okay, so that's most of the paint loaded onto those shelves there. Unfortunately, I've hit a slight problem in as much as I've run out of shelf brackets. So I've only got a limited number of the short shelf brackets. I've got longer shelf brackets. Problem is they have this little lip on the end here to stop the shelf sliding forward. So I have previously cut some down, but if you pull on the shelf it just slides off, which is a bit dodgy. So I'm going to try and get a little bit creative. So I've got a couple of longer shelves down there, and I'm thinking, I say longer, wider, deeper, whatever. I'm thinking the very top shelf over there doesn't need to be that depth, because that's going to be way above the car, so that can stick out further. So I'm thinking I'll put one of the taller shelves, whatever, bigger shelves up there. Only problem is I've got them in metre wide, I haven't got them in the 1.3 metre wide. So I can do the long brackets on this side, but I'm just going to be a bit creative, put a block of wood in or something. But yeah, so I think the next plan is to change that shelf and move some of this wood from over here to over there. So yeah, let's carry on. Yeah, so I've been doing some thinking. I'm stuck again. So I've decided that ladder's a problem. I know all this junk in here, and I'm pointing to the ladder that's nice and neat out the way. The reason I'm saying that ladder's a problem, I can't finish the top shelf on there to move the rest of the logs that are in the basket down there up there because the ladder's in the way. I can't move this shelving unit from here to over there because the ladder's in the way. I can't move those pots of paint onto there because I haven't got the shelf brackets, but if I did have the shelf brackets, the ladder's in the way. So I've been thinking about where to put it in here, and I'm really not sure, because obviously I can't have it on that side, the shelving's going on that side, so I did think I'll just stick it on this side. Problem is I've measured it and it comes out to here from that wall at the very far end, and that gets in the way of my extension lead. And I will say, if you ever buy anything for your tool shop, buy one of those, they're fantastic. But yeah, so that's nice and secure to the wall, and I don't really want to move it. So I did think, can I put the ladder a different orientation and get round it? And then I'm looking at the way it hooks, and it's like, oh. And then when I do hang it, it's going to be quite a way out. Then it's like, am I going to hit my head on it? And it's going to be irritating from that point of view. So I think what I'm going to have to do for now is try and get it out the door. I don't think I'll be able to take it through the house, so I've got to go out through that door and go and put it in the shed. Yeah. I'm going to give this some more thought. Okay, so I've done a bit more tidying, a bit more thinking, and the ladder's still in the way, but I've solved the problem with the shelves. So with me turning the top row into the deep shelves, I had extra brackets. I just forgot about them because my brain was still in the thing of the shelves going up there. So one of those white shelves is to go in over there. The brackets are already in. So that means I've got the brackets from that shelf. The other white shelf isn't needed. So I've got the brackets for that. So that's two shelves brackets. So if I put a shelf in here and a shelf in here, that's those two metal shelves there. Then at the very top here, I've got the deep brackets for a deep shelf. So that's that sorted. Now I've looked at it and I'm thinking there should be enough space to get this ladder down here on the floor for now. That will mean I can carry on with moving this over here, finish building the shelves there, and get all that paint and glue and stuff onto it. But I'm thinking I'm hungry as well, so I'm going to have some lunch and get on with this evening. So yeah, see you in a bit. Okay, so moving that ladder did the trick. So yeah, just lifted the ladder down there. I've managed to get the shelves in place. I've managed to get the stuff on the shelves. I have got this corner here clear now, but I can feel that there's progression. I feel like there's more space starting to turn up. So next challenge will be to get that into this corner. Then I can push all the rubbish into that corner, and I'll have space to work in the middle. And then I can just deal with whatever rubbish is left in the corner. So to do that, things that are in my way. These bits on the ends here. Well, one of them's a bin. That's not too bad. Empty that, and that'll be lightweight. Pipe bender weighs a ton. It's not too bad because it's in a box. Now this table here with all the metal on it, I'm thinking if I just stand those sheets up in front of the shelves for now, it'll be a temporary. But that'll give me the space. I can get rid of the table legs that are underneath it. Same as this box here, that's full of firewood. I can spin that round into this gap. That should give me enough space to manoeuvre that round here and get it into this corner. That's the thought anyway. So yeah, I think if I make a start on that, and yeah, that's the plan. Okay, so that is it, pretty much empty. So I've just got to unbolt it from the wall. I've got bolt there and the same other end. I think it's only the two that's holding it in place. While I'm doing it, I think there's a couple of things I've got to decide on. So it used to be a set of shelves all the way down. Now I kept all the spare shelves, which are the chipboard bits you saw me take off, and the spare rails. Theory being that if I needed to, I could put them back. And I'm thinking, what are the chances of me actually putting them back? So I'm thinking, shall I just thin it down and take off the bits I don't actually need? Obviously I need the bottom one there for strength on this corner, probably the middle one as well, because that's quite a long distance between that and the half. But I'm thinking, other than that, I probably don't need them. Very top shelf again. Do I need the very top shelf? That's more of a question of, once it's over there, how much space have you got? Other question is, how do I level it? Because obviously that's pre-made thing, so that's nice and level. Looking at the floor over here, going back to what I said previously in the video, all from here there's a line, and you can see it's all lumpy and filled in with all sorts of rubble. From there on, it's smoother. I'm not going to say it's flat, but you can see on the brick line on the wall there must be at least that much difference, one end to the other, if not more. So I can either put pieces of wood underneath the feet just to raise it up, or I can cut the legs. So that's something to think about. Yeah, well, let's start by unbolting it from the wall. And what is it with the wood lice in here? Everywhere I do move something, there's wood lice behind it. Okay, so that was way harder than it needed to be. So I've decided I am keeping the shelves. Top shelves pretty much going to be unusable when it's over there, I think. So I'm just going to put all the spare shelves and all the spare brackets up on the very top there, and then I can just ignore them. If I ever change my mind on this, then I've got the pieces there. Obviously I need the bottom brackets in for support, so I've turned them upside down because they were collecting dust. So now they're drop it and push it onto the floor. I've decided I don't want to cut the legs. I did think about it, and I thought that cabinet goes under there with about that much clearance. If I was to cut the legs, that cabinet won't go under. So I'm not going to be doing that. So I'm going to fix the back legs to the wall, and the front legs I'm going to put blocks of wood to support them. So now I've got the fun and games of moving that over to there. Right. Yeah, let's put you on time lapse because this might take a while. Okay, so that is in place. So all I've got to do now is level it and fix it to the wall. But yeah, I'm going to leave that till later. Right. Okay, so I've managed to secure that back to the wall, managed to put a few bits and pieces back onto it. So I had to space it off the wall slightly, just by about 2 centimetres. So I had an offcut of electrical conduit there, the metal pipe. So just cut those as spaces there. I've only fixed it top and bottom for now, so I could get everything back. I do need to put some extra fixings in there because once you start the lathe up, you can end up with a bit of vibration, so I want that nice and solid. Trimmed down the drill press stand and got that back on there. Now I can't remember quite where the car comes to, so I know it's somewhere around here. So I'm hoping with the shape of the car and the fact that I can get the car over, it's not going to be a problem. I can still cut the corner off of there and cut it further back if I need to, but we'll see when we get the car in. Unfortunately for the rest of this lot, it's got to the stage where I'm looking at it and it's just stuff. You haven't got the nice easy, oh that's paint, I'll put that all together over here. It's just bits and pieces, and I need to go through it and decide whether I'm actually keeping it or not. I've already made a bit of a start, and this pile here is to go. I mean, it's offcuts of metal, so they can just go to the scrapyard. Pipes there, I'm not going to use it, so that can just get go to the bin. The fire here, that is absolutely wonderful. I would love to be able to put that in the house somewhere, but it just doesn't work in my house. So I'm going to let somebody else who will absolutely love that, they can have that. Same as I've got a game machine over there. That was going to be a restoration project, and yeah, that's going to get damaged before I ever get around to restoring it, so that's going to have to find a new home. So yeah, there's a lot to go through and a lot to decide whether I'm keeping or not, so I'm not going to bother recording it. I'm just going to jump from here to a lovely aftershot where everything's all clear. So it might be a while, but yeah, so I shall end this here for a second and I'll see you in a minute. Wait, that wasn't the idea. Got no space again. Now what I've got myself into. I'm really not getting there, am I? So the initial tidy up took me about 2 to 3 weeks. To try and clear that last little bit in the corner there has taken well over 2 months. But I have got it clear now. So time for the big reveal of what it looks like. And there we go. Ta-da! Nice big open space. So not only can I now do proper woodworking projects in here if I want to, I can also get my car in here, which was the main objective. So it's still not finished, but then things like this, when will they ever be finished? So I still want to change the doors out for something electric so I can get the car in and out easier. And also this ceiling is a bit, yeah, brilliant for soundproofing, not particularly hygienic, so it'd be nice to put some sort of sheeting on the roof to keep that tidy. But all my tools are now down this end, so even with the car in here, the car comes to about here, so I can still get to my lathe, I can still get to my tools here, so I can still use it as a workshop even when the car is in here. But yeah, so if you like this video, do leave a like and make sure you subscribe, and I shall see you later. So there we go, managed to get the car in. Got plenty of space to get in and out the driver's door there. And it's quite useful that I've still got this space at the end here, because the rear windscreen wipers just stopped working on the car, so despite the fact it's wet and windy outside, I can look at fixing that now. Excellent. See you later.